Welcome to the ParentNet podcast by Focus on the Family Singapore. In each episode, we will be speaking with everyday parents and practitioners as they share with us gems from their parenthood journey. Keep tuning in to learn with us as we figure it out together.
Hello and welcome to the ParentNet podcast. My name is EJ and I am your host for this episode. Now, as parents, we want our children to not only excel academically, but also to build strong character and sound values. One way to foster these qualities is by serving and giving back as a family through volunteering. If you have a busy family looking for small ways to start serving or hoping to teach your children about kindness and generosity, well, don't miss out. This episode is for you. Joining me today on our ParentNet podcast are Daryl and Melissa, proud parents of 2 daughters. And together, they have been serving and volunteering together with Focus on the Family as a family for, I believe it's close to almost 5 years. And I'm so excited to have them with us today to share their journey with us. So welcome to our ParentNet podcast, Daryl and Melissa. It's so good to have both of you.
Same here. It's good to be here, EJ.
Yes, and so maybe to kick us off on this podcast, could I get both of you to tell us a little bit more about yourself, your family, and what you've been up to recently? Maybe let's start with Daryl.
So I've been married about 13 over years, and we have 2 daughters, 11 and 8. 2 years ago, I exited my teaching career after 12 years, and I think God called me to serve Him at a greater level. So I'm with a non-profit Christian para organization called Fellowship of Christian Athletes. So it's a full-time sports ministry. I think my current mission is, big part is sports, the other big part is family. So I always tell people now that I'm a sports and family missionary, because sports is like my strategy to get into the family side of the things. So very interesting for me. And I'll pass the time to my wife to share a bit more about the 2 girls.
Hi, I'm Melissa. I'm a primary school educator. Teaching was a job that I was doing before I got married. But ever since my elder daughter was born, I actually chose to stay home for 10 years until my younger daughter actually started primary school last year. That's when I decided to come back to teaching, because I need to think of ways to pass time in the morning when both are in school. The 2 of them, one is 11, one is 8. They're very different characters. The elder girl, she's the very calm, very stable kind of child who loves the indoors more than the outdoors. Yeah, you just give her a TV program or a storybook. She can actually just entertain herself at home without looking for you. But for my younger one, she's a little bit on the opposite. She loves the outdoors. She's very active, even at home. When we are stuck at home during COVID, or if it's bad weather, she will still, find things to do. And the things that she finds to do is not like just sitting there reading a book, but she will look for people to play with her. She will jump around the house, roll on the bed. So they have very different characters.
Thank you for sharing a little bit more about yourselves and your family. And truly both of you are educators, but also educators in your heart, and more importantly, family is really big in your mission and your personal vision for the home front as well. Now, let's talk a little bit more about today's topic. I wanted to find out a little bit more from both of you, since you've been actively volunteering and serving together as a family, together with your 2 girls. What inspired your family to start this whole volunteering and serving together? And tell us a little bit more, how did it become like a regular activity in your family life?
Service is really one of our family values. I think it probably rooted from that. We wanted to serve together, but when we truly volunteered as a family, with Focus, it was probably the start of our journey. But I got a lot of my own experiences as volunteer and fundraising, even in my teaching years. I think that has shaped me a lot. I volunteered with communities. Last time I was in Cedar Primary, Potong Pasir community, a lot of volunteering there with my students and their families. So I have witnessed that. In fact, my girls, when they were young, they joined me. So they have always joined me, with my wife and all. So, and since COVID hit, that was the start where we saw an opportunity to really make service, our family value, more tangible. I think for us as a family, that probably how we got started in this whole journey.
Does it work out the same way for you, Melissa? Is it similar to what Daryl has gone through in his journey?
Yeah, actually during COVID, because we're all stuck at home, couldn't even attend church. So serving in church is not possible. So instead of like just thinking of ways to pass time, during the circuit breaker and all that, we decided to use our time together as a family to do something more meaningful. So we decided to serve out of our usual comfort zone, like no longer just in church, but to serve like the community, a bigger community that's outside church. Yeah, so we decided to help Focus on the Family to raise funds so that they can bless more families. And so to teach our children that they know that they are very blessed, right? So let them use their gifts and talents to bless other people around, people that they want to reach out to or people whom they feel that it's more meaningful, that they can help.
As I hear Melissa share, I can see that and hear from your responses that it's very intentional effort from both your ends, to pass down some of these values that you're called, like for Daryl, what he has grew up with and even his own career journey by passing it on to the kids, and for Melissa, not wasting those opportunities and getting the children involved to serve even when the times are difficult. Curious to know also, as you serve together, not just individually but as a family, maybe you could share with the audience listening in what lessons have you and your children learned as you serve others, be it through fundraising, be it through volunteering efforts as well?
Big and small lessons. In fact, within the journey of teaching about the value of service, right, the values that we have all pop up through the journey. I mean, if you want to serve together, it's working in a team, right? I always teach my kids, your first team is your family. So teamwork is the other family value lah. So we got to think of how we can do it together, I think I remember the younger one, still very young. I mean, what can she do, right? So, but as simple as the little things that she can do, we let her do lah. I remember we were making the cookies and doing the dough, peeling stickers, So these are little things that they can be involved in and they are learning along the way. And we teach them how to be thankful. I mean, they are really very blessed. We have two very generous sides of our family, my grandparents. Always buying them things. Sometimes I wish they don't buy so much. But very hard to stop them. So sometimes I find it hard to teach them how to be thankful because they have so much. So I think this is another track that I felt can be more intentional to help them balance out. Especially we were intentional in doing it during Christmas lah, frankly, if you ask me. Because we felt like the whole season of Christmas in our culture is all about presents, celebrative things, which we have really lost the true meaning of giving. So we taught them how to give, taught them how to be thankful that they don't need to keep receiving, but they can do their part.
Yeah, so I think through this whole fundraising that we have been doing as a family the last few years, the children learn that serving in this kind of fundraising is not a one-off thing. It's not like a once a week, once a month thing that they just sing in the church choir during worship or they just carry the offering back to collect offering from the whole church. But this whole fundraising, it could take like as long as almost a month or even minimum 2 weeks. There's ups and downs during the fundraising. They can suddenly grow tired. Then gradually they feel that it's getting too hard, too tough, they want to give up or they start to leave everything to Daryl and I to do it. But we encourage them, to like continue because there's a greater cause for all these things that we are doing. It's not just a sense of fulfillment, or an achievement after we finish baking the cookies, beading the keychains, but the end product is actually to bless people, and the funds that we are able to raise is actually to impact the other families. So as we encourage them and as we work together as a family, I think my children learn a sense of responsibility that they must always do things with a start and to the end, not like just give up halfway.
Wow, I think it's so amazing. I mean, I've known both of you through your active volunteering in Focus on the Family over the last few years. I've seen all the fundraising projects you got involved in, baking cookies, the kids actually get involved. I am so amazed at how you actually motivate them to stay on course, because like what Daryl mentioned earlier, right? There are so many questions the kid might be facing. What can me as a child do, or when it's so tiring and I feel like giving up and I realize I still have another 50 cookies to make or 50 cookies to pack, all right? So as you all face these challenges or difficulties along the way in motivating the kids, how do you overcome them? How do you keep on spurring them on to not give up? Are there some incidents along the way you can share?
During the circuit breaker, when we started the cookie making, that one is like they are no choice. They are stuck at home with us. So and then all their classes are cancelled. No swimming, no ballet, no gym. So the most fun thing to do is actually baking with us. And actually, because they are girls, right? They actually always request to bake with me during holidays. Sometimes I cannot really stand mess. So baking is like a privilege for them during school holidays when I have more time to clean up and more time to explore the different bakes that we can do. So for this circuit breaker, it's really perpetually like for minimum 3 to 4 weeks that we were baking, like almost non-stop from day to night. So of course, that one was quite easy because they are like stuck with us. But as the later years, like recent years, when the kids have their own commitments, homework, then parents as well, we have our own service to our church, we actually have more challenges in terms of carving out time to serve. So I think this one must be very intentional. We have to really decide as a family, like during school holidays, because usually we do this during school holidays, like when are we going to travel and when are the time that we're not traveling, maybe we should set aside time and then do the project, this fundraising project that, we have to do. So it's really about making our school holidays more purposeful. It's not just about traveling. It's not just about the kids having a break from school, but make it extra meaningful for them by letting know that their free time can also be used to bless other people.
So as you can see, time is really a precious commodity for all families right now. And as I hear Melissa share, it's about preparing them ahead, letting them know that, with the holidays coming up, there's that 1.5 months, so let's set aside X number of days or Y number of weeks, and we'll be focusing on this project to support a particular charity, and that works. Now, how about Daryl? I've known Daryl, and he does really not just a lot of fundraising, but crazy ones that involve a lot of running because he's a runner himself. And I've always seen that every of these running projects, Daryl, that you do, your kids will come along and they are like running at the parks together with us, running at least some of the distances, walking some of these trails that you go on. Honestly, it's really tiring for the kids. I'm sure they whine and complain to you as well. How do you get them to come along, yet trying to share with them the values behind it, understand the heartbeat of the project? And there's so many things you want to... How do you actually do it to help your kids better understand?
It's not easy, I would say. But I think the way we do it, which is a good tip for everyone, is modeling is important. As a parent, I think the best way is really to model. If they see daddy, mommy do it, they see daddy do it, there's a bigger or higher chance they would be there. You don't do it, you ask them to do, they're not going to do it. And adding on to what Melissa said, right, is whether it's holidays or not holidays, bonding time means spending time together. So actually, it can be doing anything. Some people like to go holiday, also spending time. You do this, it's also spending time. So it's really about, I think, your direction for your family, how you want to spend time with your kids, what you want them to get out of it. Try to make it fun for them. I still remember we did that overnight trail. Yeah, I know the kids gonna get hungry, right? Gonna be grouchy. I mean, I prepare all the sushi gummies, drinks. These are the little things that we know that it's gonna come, and we try and really excite them a bit, and hopefully they will catch something along the way, which we hope each time we do with them, something is sealed inside them that they catch.
That's really some nuggets of wisdom here that I'm hearing from both Daryl and Melissa, especially how Daryl started with mentioning about their first team is actually your family. As we talk about time, we decide as a family how we want to apportion and spend our time. So we are used to spending time for holidays and thinking of ourselves, but hey, maybe setting aside some time to think of others, to support others is also a meaningful way to bond together. I'm curious, so as you have volunteered and served together for so many different kind of family projects, again, beyond just fundraising, but also being on the ground to serve and support, have you noticed some of these benefits that has visibly, among your children or for yourselves as well, as parents?
There is a lot of benefits. I was just thinking of this in Chinese, they say, those people that give money, 出钱, right? 我们出力啦. So our kids, we always tell them, you all don't have money actually. Your money is all ours. Even they want to buy things for their teachers and all, I was like, can you just go and draw a card? Yeah, 出力啦, like use what you can at your age now. I hope that will teach them actually a lot of things, what they have already, they can use their talents, their time to bless others. Not everything is by money, Yeah. And through that, I hope that little projects like that really can kill many, many birds with one stone. Yeah, I like to do that lah. I mean, if you know a bit of how I do things, even in school, one project can kill a lot of birds very good. Save time, they learn something, we bond, we bless the community, we can impact focus, I like to do that. We don't have a lot of time on hand. So that's something I see. And I think another benefit I can see is that we teach them how to be a blessing to others, because we are blessed, so we bless others. They learn, I think, along the way, hopefully, as we do it as a family more.
I think through all the different fundraising projects, my children, we understand ourselves and each other better. Like my elder one, she's very good in like tying ribbons and all that. So for all the cookie jars, she will tie the ribbons. Yeah, from not sure how to tie until she can tie very nice ribbons. Then for Mimi, because she was very young when we started on this project, she was only a preschooler. So for her, she will just do the very simple ones like peeling the stickers, helping daddy to create the verses on the jars. It teaches them how to tap on their strengths and then let them know that they are also not perfect. They cannot do everything by themselves. From all the different projects, right, we are not able to do everything by ourselves, but we work as a family. So it teaches us a lot about teamwork as a family, and also teaching them that working together not only can bless our own family in terms of we feel a sense of fulfillment, but we can bless other people, so more outward looking.
Wow, I think it's so true, right? As you see that volunteering as a family unit together, everybody contributes what they can. Even for the children, despite how young they are, they contribute whatever they can. I mean, whatever they are good at. So even in that giving, we're seeing that the joy of just giving back to a project, to serving, to volunteering has actually brought greater connection as a family as well. So I think it's really a food for thought for many of our listeners who are thinking and to make full use of this December holidays to do something meaningful, not just for themselves, but also for a needy community, for a good cause as well. I'll ask this next question for many of the listeners out there who actually, as they hear both of you, Daryl and Melissa, as you share, they are really inspired. However, they might find that, wow, I'm just too occupied, or I don't know how to begin. Would you have any quick tips, practical tips for parents, regarding volunteering together, despite some of these busy schedules that they might have?
I think volunteering together as a family definitely bring us closer. And because we have same goal, like a target to meet, amount to fulfill towards the end of the fundraising, and also help us to appreciate what we have. Because we realize that we have different strengths, we can work together to make things work out. And also, despite all these challenges, like what EJ said, the time management and all that, I think the joy of blessing other people is manifold, more than what we can actually imagine when we were actually toiling ourselves to do the fundraising, whether it's baking cookies or spending the night to do the keychains, or like even Daryl running overnight, to raise funds. I think at the end of every fundraising, we realize that the joy that we get from completing this fundraising and the fact that it can bless other people, it actually spurs us on to want to continue to do more fundraising in the future.
When they were young, you need to just know what interests them first. Then likely they will do. I remember our first one just happened to be, they are in the making cookies age, and we happened to had an opportunity to partner with our church for some activity regarding cookie lah. So that was how it came about. Cookies. Okay, let's bake cookies. Christmas is a good idea. Then the second year, both of them were so into stringing the beads, those alphabet beads. And then happened that in my school, me and my other colleague, form teachers, we also decided to, because I saw my girls doing it, then I tried, we did it for my class. So that was how it came about. Let's use this. Since they know how to do, they will definitely be involved. So I think it's also time to find out what your girls like or what your children like, and be intentional in, then that will be the project that is shaped under. They'll take ownership of it. I mean, it's intentional to see how you want to involve them. Little ways. I think a lot is on the parent as well to really have a heart of wanting to do this. Yeah, and be intentional. Like I got them to do the promotional video, right? If that's all they can do, then it's still part of it. How they are involved in the process is more important than the big rules. If in the end is a mommy, daddy doing a lot, which is fine, as long as they are part of it.
That's a good tip for a start, so flowing with your child's interests, something that they are good at. And so at least from the onset, they know that there's something they can immediately contribute and be part of. But I think we definitely cannot run away from investing time. And no matter how busy we are, if we want to start inculcating the habit of volunteerism and teaching good values, it really requires us to portion out time. Time to volunteering for charity, time to involve the kids, or maybe sometimes it's just dedicating one day a month to serve the community. So it all revolves time. We cannot run away from it.
And it needs to be age appropriate also. Like my elder one has grown, right? So I think recently, I know she can take on more already. She's older. Maybe I get her to think alongside with me. She can give ideas. She can do the design. Then I will let it be, So I think as they grow, right, things will change.
I think I'm looking forward to one day where it's not Daryl or Melissa fronting a project, a volunteering project or a crowdfunding project with focus on the family Singapore. It might be your daughters coming to us and initiating a project. I think that will really be success of your modeling and how you have influenced their lives. We're going to bring this podcast to a close, and I want to wrap up with this question to ask you, and an opportunity for you to give a word of encouragement to other parents listening into. Would there be any actionable tips that you can share with parents in terms of helping them to nurture a sense of empathy and joy of giving in their children, so that the children won't feel like, oh, this is a duty or obligation in that sense? Yeah. So any actionable tips and ideas for parents?
I think like what Daryl said, you have to do something that they are interested and they like. Yeah, so they will not complain. They will be very happy to do it. But after that, I'm sure they will realize along the way that, doing one or two bracelet is very different from doing like hundreds, because, sometimes when fundraising, right, when they order can be hundreds. Baking once every holiday is very different from baking like 200 jars, They'll realize, but it's okay, just encourage them that this is not our usual baking for fun or like making bracelets for your friends, kind of practice, but it's more like you are doing a greater cause. Must let them see it with a more out of the box kind of view, so that they will know that this whole thing, yes, is tough, but as long as they persevere on, other people will be blessed by their actions, their little sacrifices.
I think start small. I think every family is very different. You haven't done anything before, even helping daddy, mommy do the housework first is like volunteering, right? At home first. And then slowly the kids start to step out of the comfort zone. Then I think my take is really the parents have to model and then bring along the kid. And for me, volunteering and serving as a family has helped us deepen our family identity, what we really want. Yeah, so I think parents need to know what they want for their family. Is it to serve? Is it to be a blessing? If it's volunteering or fundraising is a very big project, then how can we serve our extended family first? How can my kid help me wrap present, bless my auntie, uncles first, draw a card? People might not see that as volunteering and serving, but I think those are the first layers. That's what I mean, start small.
Another very good actionable tip that Daryl and Melissa has also given is really about starting small, starting within your immediate family or even your immediate circle of friends or community as well, and make it easy so that the children can latch on, come on board and have ownership together in this. I see Daryl and Melissa really are parents who not just talk the walk, but they also walk the talk. And this is something that they have mentioned a lot of times in our podcast today, where parents have to lead by example. Parents have to role model, especially when the children grow older, they see and they model the parents' behavior. And I've also had the privilege of knowing Daryl and Melissa's kids, and I see them, they really model after you at this young age, the heartbeat of serving, the heartbeat of giving as well. So I want to thank you both, Daryl and Melissa, for your time today, for this podcast, to share your learnings and your insights and your experience as you journey with your children in this area of serving and giving as a family. I mean, it's an inspiration and encouragement to me, but I believe to all the podcast listeners as well, where we all really want to see more families come together in the acts of service to support others. And I believe on the very big picture level, where Singapore will be a place where we see families thrive and see families supporting families too. So thank you so much again for your time. And to all our listeners, that's all the time that we have for today. We hope you have enjoyed this episode. And for more parenting resources, do visit our website at family.org.sg. We hope you keep tuning in to the ParentNet podcast to learn and grow in your parenting journey.